if you're fun and snarky and you have a certain edge to who you are and to how you speak and to the way you want to show up, and you try to like be all beige and vanilla, it's not going to land.
No.
A wedding couple pays you once.
A corporate client pays you for years or even decades.
It's time to leverage your creativity, knowledge, and experience in a whole new market.
Hi, I'm Don.
I'm Emily.
And we're the Malonies.
Welcome to Hocus Focus,
the magic behind your wildly successful studio.
We've spent the last 20 years building a system to dominate the corporate market,
so we could exceed our clients' expectations from Dallas to destinations around the world.
Now we're sharing all of our secrets with you,
so you can build a life and business you truly want, doing what you really love. Okay, on with the show.
Oh, my. So violent. Okay, so...
Don, why are we here today?
I think we open the podcast the same way every time. It's episode 4. I think part of that is getting into our rhythm. It's also because we have some of these episodes pre-planned to build towards something, as opposed to, I think, future episodes will just be like, hey, what happened this week?
Yeah.
And
guest speakers will come in and
guest
talk
speakers,
about their things that they excel at and we have no idea about.
leaders in their field or their discipline within the industry. It's interesting because I wanted to build a bridge to who we are and what we're doing. And it's been a bit challenging because everything overlaps a bit. And so we were just talking, and we don't want the first few episodes to be redundant. So if we start talking today and you're like, oh my gosh, I've heard this already, please stick around, because we're going to go into slightly deeper detail into each of the things that we've teed up in previous episodes.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell some anecdotal stories about client success and things like that. So,
and this is important because a lot of these deeper dives are going to be guests that are going to come on later on the podcast. Mm-hmm. So they're going to tell us why they would hire a certain type of photography or video team, creative team. So there's reasons for the madness.
Reasons for the madness.
For the magic, right?
Magic. Spells recently cast, right? Mm-hmm. I think that we have been doing this now for about 6 months.
Right.
And by this, I mean artist education, creative entrepreneur education. I've been in the coaching space for 5 or so years. A lot of that has been higher level, wider scope to try to help people get from where they are to where they want to go in whatever discipline or industry they're in, based on the things that are holding them back. But you and I have heard frequently enough, how did you do it? I want to do that. Where we said, okay, let's go all in.
Yeah.
And I think,
where do you start that journey with somebody?
I mean, for me, it was that there is a proven system that we created. And I think there's a lot of skeptics and critics that would be like, I mean, you did it. That doesn't make it a proven system. But we've done it. We did it with our lead associate. Uh-huh. We've now had a number of people move through the course and they've achieved success. And my measure of success is establishing something that is revenue positive, that has created an opportunity for them to do the things that they want in life.
Yeah.
Right? Minimal lifestyle theft and maximum sort of revenue generation. And it's always the same step. The first step is a brand audit.
What is a brand audit?
What is a brand audit?
Because that's kind of tricky.
It is.
Yeah.
It is tricky. And I think that people think about a brand, they think about logos and colors and fonts and typography and website presence. And that's true. But
it's not just that.
It's not just that, right? My kind of handy little saying is, your unique brand is an extension of your authentic identity. And so when you create the essence of your brand, it gets to be a representation and a reflection of who you are as a person, as the entrepreneur, as the studio founder. And there's a lot of people in the world, I think, that struggle with authenticity because they worry about the fact that like the nail that stands up gets hammered down. Mm-hmm. And they won't go out and make hot takes or talk about things that are important to them because they don't want to ruffle feathers or be inconvenient. And I'd love to tell an anecdote about an actual wedding photographer I was working with. And she was doing okay. Her conversions were down and her leads were all right, but she wasn't commanding the rate that she wanted. She was competing in the middle of the market. And I said, well, great. Well, tell me why you do what you do, and tell me why, if I were getting remarried or renewing my vows, why would I spend my money with you versus one of your competition?
What'd she say?
She said things like, I love love. I'm a hopeless romantic. I love making moments. And she talked a lot about what it is that she does.
Yeah.
And even why she does it. And I love you, Simon Sinek, who says, start with why. And it's definitely important. But I have a slight version of that says, start with who. And not who you want to serve, but who you are. And so I said, that's all great. Those are all really great answers, but not one of those answers is something I can definitively say nobody else can say.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was basically competing on all of the other variables. And the number one variable that you have to compete against if you don't authentically show up is price. And so what was happening is she was largely probably trying to be more expensive and compete at higher levels, but hadn't yet kind of quantified for a couple why that was.
Right.
And I said, tell me how long you've wanted to be a wedding photographer and why. And this beautiful story came out. And she says to me, well, my family, we've born and raised here in Texas, and my mama and papa have land. And every Sunday we would go to mama and papa's house after church, and we have this big meal brunch. And, all my aunts, uncles, and cousins, dozens of us would be on the property.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would walk down to the pond and we would do these things. I mean, it was just this beautiful picture. I could see it. It was visceral. And she said that as long as she could remember, as young as she was, she would watch Mima and Papa walk down to the pond with the family and think, these two beautiful humans finding each other, getting married, and starting this family are the reason that all these wonderful humans are here. And to think that I get to be a part of that for couples is why I love what I do. And I sat there looking at her slack-jawed. I'm like, have you ever told that story to a couple? And she's like, well, no. And I was like, I want you to take a minute, go outside, write this down. Write down that story. And I checked in with her later, and throughout the course of the program, she learned more about that. It's kind of like it's concepts of authenticity. She said her conversions went through the roof because she learned how to say, can I just tell you a little bit about why I do what I do and who I am and where I come from? Because we're going to spend a lot of time together. And so I know that, a lot of what we teach is about corporate photography, but the fact of the matter remains that if you can show a person uniquely and authentically why they're better spending their money with you than anybody else, then you're going to win the business more often. And that's all about the brand. That's how you create a brand that is a global iconic brand that lasts a lifetime and attracts an ideal audience and converts dream clients. And it's where we start. It's where we start every single time.
What is the second step?
The second step. I feel like I'm being interviewed. My palms are sweating. No, but it's great. It's good. Well, you and I have talked about this a million times. And to say that it's a system it's a system.
It is, because you follow the system, it starts to work.
It's repeatable. It's repeatable.
It's like working out. You have to change a few things, and you keep adding, and you work harder towards a bigger goal, and then you get there, right? So
and it takes time. I think that's the thing is you have to have managed expectations.
The rebranding takes time and figuring out what that is, and then we'll deeper dive into that later with the experts. But it's incredible. So what's the second step?
Second step. It's learning to find your voice, your unapologetic voice, your powerful voice, your voice that won't land with everyone. And so, when it comes to brand, your unique brand is an extension of your authentic identity, means that your creative marketing is an amplification of your personal voice.
Right.
And what that means is, and the conversations I've had is, if you're fun and snarky and you have a certain edge to who you are and to how you speak and to the way you want to show up, and you try to like be all beige and vanilla, it's not going to land.
No.
It's not going to land, number one, because you're not going to reach your ideal audience and your dream client. People are going to sniff out that inauthenticity like pigs sniff out truffles, and it's just not going to feel good to you. And so part of the marketing is about making sure that you realize that it's a beacon and a filter.
Yeah.
When somebody hears your brand and your marketing and your voice, and they're either going to be like, yep, that is not my jam.
Yeah. Or
they're going to be like, I'm all in.
I'm all in. Yeah.
And that, like, everything from the emails that you send and the social media marketing that you do. I remember I had a client, we had a client, and I was corresponding with them, and we had some sort of glitch with their payment system.
Yeah.
And so they owed us money, and I sent them this super funny email about the fact, I'm like, hey, I just noticed that your invoice is past due. Don't worry, I'm not going to send any Italian brothers and sisters out to rough you up, but it's time for us to, drop a couple coins in the piggy bank. And they're like, oh my gosh, I jumped in there and it won't let me pay them. And then we went back and forth, and we were both getting frustrated. And I was like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to refresh the portal. I'm going to do this and that. And I send it off to him. And she goes, hooray, I just was able to make the payment. And I wrote back, huzzah, we made the internet our bit today.
Yeah.
And she wrote back, this wins the internet. It made me happier than anything I've read in a long time.
Yeah.
And that's because I didn't say, thank you so much for remitting payment.
Right.
Like, that's just not,
who you
our
are.
brand. That's not who I am, and that's not our brand. And so I think that it's important that you remember that part of showing up is showing up authentically and learning the language that's important to those corporate clients, but at the same time not feeling like, is this too professional, not professional enough?
Yeah.
Everybody's worried about what they're supposed to do and what's expected of them. And that's important when it comes to the knowledge, but when it comes to the brand and the marketing, it's really quite important that you put your own special spin on it.
Yeah. What's next?
You're just going to keep doing this. What's next?
Yeah.
What's next? I love that, because that's
we actually do say that.
We say that
a lot.
For obvious reasons, because I'm a wingnut from the West Wing. Those of you that are out there. What's next? I think the next sort of really beautiful place where people both learn and grow and love, but also struggle, is the idea of creating refined offers. Okay. So
that's scary for a lot of people.
It is, because they're used to just creating like a certain number of collections, or God forbid packages,
or my collection. And this is not how it works in the corporate world.
There are certain opportunities where you have like a very small or simple event where you can just kind of be like, hey, this is our event rate for that type of thing. But more often than not, it's really a request for proposal that comes to you that says, hey, we're doing this big thing, and these are the things that we need done. How much is that going to be? And a lot of people in the program come back with like deer in headlights. Yeah. How do I build this? I'm like, relax, it's okay. Like, we're going to figure this out. We're going to talk about, how many photographers, time on site, hold time, travel time, deliverables, retouching, editing, post. You take all that and you just put together a custom proposal and you send that over. Now, the benefit to that is you can tell the client they're getting everything they want, nothing they don't, and you can tell them this is a comprehensive rate, and it's typically substantially more than a wedding. Right. Which is beautiful. It's also why you and I changed our wedding model, and why we increased our pricing, was because we didn't want to have collections on our website that a person would just pick from. Yeah. We wanted to be able to custom design that for them. And so around the time we were making this shift, around 2012, we basically said, no more collections on the website. Right. We have a commissioning rate, like an artist or like a contractor or like anybody else in a professional service. And if they want Emily and I for the day, this is where the commissioning rate starts. And then if they want to add things on, if they want us to custom create something new, they tell us what they want and we give them exactly what they want. Yeah. It made a huge difference. Number one, I think that the couples looked at that and said, oh, cool. Like it added an element of exclusivity and excitement. And a lot of other people weren't doing it that way. No. And it created a commonality amongst the two different revenue streams. Yeah. You weren't like creating collections over here that just live out on a website, or that you would send a static kind of sheet to, and then over here you're customizing everything. It got us in the habit of then having the same. And so generating leads, meaning going out and knowing where to find the corporate client, which is very different than finding a wedding couple. Yeah. And then knowing how to say, okay, here's exactly what you need. here's exactly what we're going to do, and here's the price tag.
And sometimes you get to ask the question, have you thought about X, Y, or Z?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times they're like, oh, snap, I need that.
Yes.
And you've immediately got an upsell
Yeah.
in there. And sometimes it's headshots or for their, CEO or whatever. Yeah. So you have an opportunity to really customize and build it out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's again.
And then you're the the subject matter expert in that. And they're like, I didn't think of that. And you're like, well,
no apologies here.
No apologies. Yeah.
No apologies here. Yeah. Subject matter expert all day long. And then we keep going back to the fact that this is a business serving another business.
Yeah.
Everything changes when it goes from a business serving an individual or individuals to a business that's serving another business, because that business sees you differently, understands things differently, price things and budget for things differently.
Yep.
And so again,
and a lot of times it's their once a year meeting. And so they've got everybody from all over the United States there at that one spot. And so when you're able to introduce different concepts and things to them, they're like, oh yeah.
What a great time to
do that.
Headshots, testimonials, along with the live event photography.
Right.
And we've talked about it before, right? Not only can you do this with inbound inquiries, but you can do this with outbound offers.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. But we'll deep dive into that.
We can deep dive. But that goes to the fact that, like, again, lead generation and sales conversion in the wedding space is inbound inquiry. Like, win the business, win them over, have them choose you over everyone else. And there's a little bit of that in the corporate world, but it's much more about this is what we do. This is how we do it. This is why we're uniquely qualified to create what you need and what you want and exceed your every expectation. And suddenly you render your competition irrelevant in a way that you can't always do otherwise. And so I find it incredibly empowering, because instead of being reactive, you're being proactive.
Right.
And that's a big deal. It's a big deal, especially right now. We talked about it in the last episode with AI crowding, with diversification and differentiation being so much more important. These are the ways you do it. So there you have it. Okay. You want the last one?
No, you go ahead.
Okay. This is something Emily and I do together. So I just recently did a blog post. If you don't know, we have a blog post. Go out to themimonis.com/blog. Check it out. I did a blog post about how do you run a business without destroying your marriage.
Right.
And you and I have been doing this for 20 years.
Yes.
Thank you for loving me.
Oh, I love you a long time.
So we've been doing this for 20 years, and it's so easy to think about how we were doing it wrong at the beginning, where we were trying to like split everything up. Yeah. I'll do this and then you do this, and then I'll do this and then you do this. And we were just kind of like 50-50ing it. And then over time, the better we got at learning what our strength buckets were, the more efficient we got, the more productive we got, the happier we got. Yeah. And so I do a lot of the administrative and the back end and the tech, and you do a lot of the creative endeavors and the marketing and helping me create unique and different things for our clients. And that's the last bubble, right? So you've got branding, marketing, lead generation, and sales conversion. And the last one is remarkable experiences.
Right.
This is the Maya Angelou effect. Yeah. Right? She said, people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. People will never forget how you make them feel.
Right.
And so everything about what we do comes down to two things: the best possible experience and the best possible outcome. And a lot of that has to do with creating a remarkable experience that creates emotion. Yeah. And so I was actually talking to one of our clients, and I said it somewhat flippantly, and you and I talk about this all the time. I was like, oh, the hearts and flowers and the nuts and bolts. They're like, what? And I said, I do a lot of the nuts and bolts, and Emily does a lot of the hearts and flowers. And we both do both, but I am the, sending of the emails and the generating of the proposals and this and that. Emily's a lot of the times the one who's on site, making them feel a way that a lot of photographers can't make them feel: confident, comfortable, that you're always there and never seen.
Keeping the positive energy
and calm. You're so calming.
Things might be a little bit hectic. Yeah. You can't add to that. You have to take it back and just kind of calm it and become the expert in the situation. And so, Yeah.
We started to notice over time that this was a bit of something that we really placed value on, because the feedback we got, we always send out a survey. If you don't send out a survey after your events, you got to do that. We have this spreadsheet over the last 20 years of what clients have returned. And they oftentimes reference the work, but even more often they reference what we did and how we did it.
The experience
that we've created. And so it's how you uncommodify the circumstance. And if you, again, the reminder is commodification means that the biggest variable is price.
Yeah.
One of the ways to render your competition irrelevant and get rid of that commodification is with things like exceptional experiences. Knowing things, knowing what to say, knowing how to say it, knowing how to show up. Yeah. And so that's why the system is so important, is because if you roll in and you treat them like a wedding couple, if you roll in and you talk about it like it's a wedding day, if everything on your website, all of your delivery, everything has like the stank of wedding on it.
Well,
the beautiful flowery scent of wedding on it, it's going to not land for them.
Yeah.
They're going to feel like, oh, they're a wedding photographer and we are just a, whatever the case may be, we are an offshoot, we are a side hustle for them. And that's genuinely not what you want.
No.
So all of this to say that this entire system is about acquiring these corporate clients, understanding how to communicate with them, understanding how to create proposals and create remarkable experiences for them, but also creating empowerment for you in your brand to do exactly the number of weddings you want to do.
That's authentic to you.
It's authentic to you. To do the number of weddings you want, to add the amount of corporate you want, to go out and chase the business and create offers for small businesses that you want. I keep calling it like a win-win-win.
Yeah.
Because I think that there's a lot of people that are intimidated, afraid, that there's a lot of people that, again, over-exaggerate the gap and underestimate the amount of knowledge, creativity, and experience they have.
Yeah.
And so the corporate client capture system and the signature studio that we help you create, the entire purpose of that is to empower you, to create opportunity for you, and to leverage what we've done and the experience that we've had, so you don't have to start from the beginning. Yeah. I think it's intimidating.
It is.
It's difficult, and we don't want that for them.
Yeah.
All right. So I wrote down a number of sort of questions, and I think it's important that the audience make that choice.
Right.
Because I think that when you've been doing something for as long as a lot of photographers have been doing weddings or been struggling sort of with some of the struggles in weddings, they feel like they'd love to, but.
Yeah.
And so rather than worry about the how right now, I made this list of questions. Like, I
didn't even know you made a list of questions.
I'm always up there working.
They're very, very prepared.
I'm always up there working. Like, do you want to find and book corporate clients based on all the things we've talked about? Do you want to charge more for weddings based on the supply and demand argument that we've made, and creating a revenue stream that takes the pressure off those weddings? And so you can lose a little bit of volume and increase your revenue. Is that something that sounds interesting?
The big one. Do you want to work less weekends?
Do you want to work less weekends? Do you like the idea of recurring revenue? Establishing a relationship with something that's not just a referral source, but literally a client. So I've had sort of the critics and the skeptics be like, hey, I get like a ton of weddings from our wedding planners. That's amazing. Yeah. That's great. That's where the repeat business comes from. But the cool thing about this is our hotels are our revenues or our referral source.
Yeah.
And then once we book a client, they're our revenue source, and they keep booking us over and over again, which is something you can't say about a wedding couple. So the question is, like, do you like the idea of repeat revenue from the same loyal client? Do you want to be able to create a proactive offer that you can take out into the marketplace rather than just having to sit and wait for an inbound inquiry? Like, does that sound good?
And we'll deep dive into what these things actually mean. Yeah.
But the reason I wanted to ask these questions, Emily, is because I think that there's people that hide behind the how.
Sure.
They'd answered yes to any, some, or all of these questions. Yes, that sounds great. Yes, I want that. Yes. And then they literally think, yeah, but how? I don't know how. Where would I start? What would I do?
Mm-hmm.
And so the invitation is here. If any or all of these questions sound familiar, sound like something that's nagging on you, if the kind of fed up, burnt out, frustrated element that we've been talking about in previous episodes that kind of led to our movement.
Yeah.
If those sound familiar, don't worry about the how. We can talk about that. I'm just going to invite you and encourage you to go visit the website, send us a message, comment on one of our videos, send a carrier pigeon, as I like to say. Sheddingthewedding.com is where you can get a little more information. Themimonis.com is our website.
Yeah.
We've got the YouTube channel, the social medias, email. I want people to take action based on the answers to these questions more than I want them to take action based on already knowing how.
Right.
We already know how.
Yeah.
We know how to bridge that gap, and we know how to share this proven system with them. They don't have to worry about that. That's the beauty of it. If the answer to these questions is, I like the idea of recurring revenue, I'm tired of working all the Saturdays, I want to charge more for my weddings for the creativity and the emotional labor that I'm doing. If all those things or some of those things are starting to resonate with you, then we want to talk to you.
Yeah, we do.
We want to talk to you. Are you still having fun doing this? Because I know I
love
am.
it. Yeah.
So
Can't wait. Future episodes, we have great speakers coming.
Yeah, we have one of our first interviews. I've identified our first interview. We're going to talk about who that is yet, but I'm really excited. I'm not even going to tell you if it's a he, she, them, or they. They are a commercial photographer and talk about being a leader in the industry and in your game and having
super excited about this one.
Crazy, unique ideas and information regarding how they book their business, how they got their
and
their
the
origin
stories
story.
that they're going to tell. I can't believe that.
A-list celebrities they've worked with, marketing campaigns, super exciting. And then a lot of our future episodes are going to be based on just kind of what's happening in our world right now. Yeah. And what's happening in the program and success stories and struggles. And remember I said to you, for me personally, I didn't want this to be a podcast that's like all bright and shiny. Like,
no, we'll talk about the hard stuff.
We're going to talk about the hard stuff, right? Yeah. And so future episodes are really going to lean into what's going on in the industry, what's going on in the world. Yeah. We'll talk about Adobe and when they release new things and if things are working, things aren't working, shortcuts, tips, tricks, techniques, gear. We're going to do all of that stuff.
All the things. Crazy lighting situations that you didn't know you were going to have to handle, but the knowledge that you'll get to know how to handle it, you know, things like that.
And if you're listening live, we're going to be talking about the events that we're going to be at. So we're going to be at Wedding MBA in Las Vegas. Yes. The third week of November. We'll more than likely be at Wedding PP or WPPI, Wedding and Portrait Photographers International in March in Vegas. So why is it always Vegas?
I know.
Adult playground. That's fine.
We work in Vegas
a lot.
We'll
probably be there 6 times in as many months.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
That's okay. We
just
don't
enough.
mind that.
just enough times. So thank you for asking me these questions. I know that this has been my zone of genius, and I know that there's going to be future episodes where I'm going to be a lot quieter, and you're going to probably talk a lot more when we talk about the creativity and the lighting and different things. But thanks for being on this journey with me.
Dawn is definitely expert educator. I am too, but in a different way.
You're a hands-on educator.
I am a hands-on person.
Yeah.
I love training folks on the jobs and things. Just seeing the aha moments happening. And so you're like, here's this horrible lighting situation. This is how we're going to make this look so much better, and your client is just going to be super thrilled about it. So
I remember that about you. I remember I would be doing sort of the more conventional or traditional shots and things that I knew I needed to get. And I would look for you because I needed to ask you a question, and you're like climbing up a piece of trussing and hanging over the edge because you see this creative vision. Of course, she was always safe, but you have a vision, and you would see something in your mind's eye. And if I could just get this vantage point or that vantage point, or use my tripod to get this elevated and lean it in just the right way, then it would create such a beautiful capture. And so I think that's why a lot of the institutional education comes from me, but the creativity certainly effervesces from you. All right, that's it.
Yeah.
That's a wrap.
Have a good one.
You're creative, you're knowledgeable, and you've got all the experience and professional gear you'll need.
It's time to leverage it all in a whole new market full of loyal clients.
Remember, it's not about more, it's about different and better.
Hit subscribe, leave us a review, so other creatives can find their way to us on Hocus Focus.
Join us next week for more magic behind your wildly successful studio.
I'm Don.
I'm Emily.
Thanks for listening.